Future Emperors of Arrakis, greetings once again. Today I will walk you through a guide on where to earn the biggest room payout specifically for Solaris farming. And of course we will also cover power leveling strategies to maximize your XP gains along the way. When it comes to making money or earning Solaris, there are several ways to go about it. The first and most common method is simply looting chests. It is straightforward and probably the thing you will find yourself doing the most. If you are based in the Toriel outpost, specifically in the Haga Basin South area where you fight scavengers, you will usually find chests that give you between 10 and 50 Solaris per pickup. If you later move to the deep desert and enter some of the higher tier PvE zones, not PvP, you can earn around 1600 Solaris in a single run. That easily adds up to 8 or 9000 Solaris per station run with no extra effort needed. Another very effective method, especially if you are part of a guild or faction, is participating in the landsraad. By completing deliveries and reward objectives, you can earn plenty of Solaris. There is always an initial milestone that gives you 10,000 Solaris, and there are usually around 15 milestones in total. So getting through more than half of them is very realistic. For example, the Canola objective is just to kill 30 mobs, which gives you 700 points. It is really easy and fast. If you hit just the first milestone each week, you are already looking at around 150,000 Solaris per week. That is essentially passive income, since you probably want to do landsraad anyway in order to help your faction win the current session and influence the political situation on Arrakis. If you are not doing landsraad or you simply want other options, you can always sell items to vendors. What to sell is another matter entirely. You will often find various parts and components in dungeons, Fremen caves, or at station locations. These include things like engines, holocollars, suspensor belts, power packs, and more. This is the kind of stuff you can sell regularly. One important note though, do not sell weapons. I strongly recommend against it. It is a bad idea and really not worth it. One item that is worth mentioning is the handheld scanner. If you find one in good condition, it can be sold for up to 7,000 Solaris. That makes it one of the better items to offload. Now here is the catch. Vendor prices depend on the condition of the item. The more damaged the item is, the less you get for it. For example, if an item is 82% damaged, the price drops significantly. If it is only 18% damaged, the cut is much smaller. So if you try to sell a radiation suit MKV, you might still get around 13,000 Solaris if the suit is only lightly damaged. The same principle applies to various machines or components. These items can also be crafted. If you have the right materials like duraluminum, crafting radiation suits is possible, but honestly, I do not recommend it. It takes too much effort for very little gain and you will not really need that much Solaris at the end of the day. Another method is crafting fuel. The most economical option is low-grade lubricant. You only need water, fuel cells and silicon. That is it. One batch produces 5 units and each unit sells for 10 Solaris, which means 50 Solaris per batch. If you run one full loop for water, silicon and fuel cells, you can easily produce 1000 batches. That is 50,000 Solaris in just one go, which is actually a solid result. There is also industrial grade lubricant. It uses the same materials, but you need to add spice residue. You can find spice residue in loot containers or get it as a byproduct when you convert spice sand into spice melange. For example, at the large processor, if you put in 10,000 spice sand, you get 1000 spice residue. That is enough to craft 200 stacks of industrial grade lubricant, with each stack containing 10 units for backpacks. If you run that process, you instantly end up with around 380 units total. Do that twice and you are looking at over 76,000 Solaris. That is a really decent return for a single run. So this is another option for making money in the game, but in the end, what do you really need all that Solaris for? In practice, Solaris is used for two main things. The first is one-time cosmetic purchases. These include skins for ornithopters, harvesters or faction buildings like those for House Harkonnen or House Atreides. Some of these skins can give you a slight edge in PvP by helping you stand out from enemy players, which can actually be important in chaotic situations. The second use of Solaris is buying items from vendors, especially those unlocked by your faction winning the landsraad. Some gear from landsraad weapon vendors can be expensive, but not so expensive that you cannot afford it with just your weekly milestone income. Now let's talk about the biggest Solaris sink: high demand consumables and rare materials. Items like off-world medicals, rangefinders, EMFs, carbide scrap and diamondite dust are extremely hard to loot and very expensive to buy. Most of these are available from city vendors but in very limited quantities. Usually you are allowed to buy 15 units per day of each item. Let's say you want to buy 75 carbide scraps. That would cost you 37,500 solari per day. The good news is that if you play 4 to 5 hours per day and spend your time in the deep desert, running stations, exploring Fremen caves and looting salvage, you will be able to make that kind of money without much trouble. All in all, these are the main ways to earn Solari and the main reasons to use it. Now let's talk about leveling, specifically how to level up your character as efficiently as possible. If you are already around level 150 or higher and you are not quite sure how to keep progressing, one of the best methods is heading into the deep desert. The entire deep desert map is divided into 9x9 sectors, which means there are 81 sectors in total. Each week you can earn 8,200 XP per sector just for discovering it. On top of that, there are additional XP bonuses for uncovering things like fragment dungeons, stations, wrecks and other structures. These usually give you between 100 and 200 XP per discovery. When you add it all up, that is about 12,000 XP per week just for exploring, which takes around an hour and a half to 2 hours depending on your pace. So this is a solid passive option for leveling up, especially if you enjoy exploration. But if you are looking for something faster, then you might want to try farming plants, specifically for crafting items like particulators, healing kits or fuel, which are in high demand in the landsraad. Every time you harvest a plant fiber, you get 2 XP. That might not sound like much at first, but you often find 6 fibers in one spot. That is already 12 XP. Walk a few more steps and you might find another 8 fibers, then another patch after that. It adds up quickly. We personally collect these materials because we need them for crafting health kits for the landsraad or for producing fuel for water traps. This kind of farming is especially effective in the tutorial areas, the starting zones where you first spawned after your ornithopter was eaten by the great sandworm Shai Hulud. Those regions are packed with plant fiber spots. Once you learn the basic routes and loops, you will start seeing patterns. Even on a quick scan from above, you can spot multiple clusters. In one area, for example, you might find 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 fibers all in one path. You head slightly south, grab 4 more and keep going. You can make a loop and easily farm 500 XP without much effort. The key is to understand that plant fiber respawn time is currently about 25 seconds according to the latest patch. So you can keep looping endlessly, picking up fibers and building XP consistently without having to fight anything. We tested this with another player and found that in 1 hour you can collect around 4,000 XP using this method. Yes, it is a bit grindy and repetitive. If you are a player who needs high energy gameplay, this might not be for you, but it is an effective and low stress way to farm XP. Of course, you can also level up through combat, which is the more traditional route, but in terms of pure efficiency, plant fiber farming is probably one of the best methods, and the bonus is the materials you gather are actually useful. If you are planning to contribute to the landsraad through your faction or guild, I recommend gathering at least 10,000 plant fibers. You will need them for crafting health kits, which in turn are used for donating in exchange for off-world items, just like we talked about in the solar farming section earlier. So there are many ways to approach leveling, and this is just one of the more efficient paths. If you found this video helpful, or if you discovered another good strategy that we haven't mentioned yet, feel free to drop a comment below. Also leave a like and subscribe for more content. You can catch me live on Twitch every day, and don't forget to join our community Discord for Czech and Slovak players, not just for Dune Awakening but also for games like Arrakis and other upcoming titles. Check out the website too, where you will find the latest guides, reviews and gaming news. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.